the FSC that it had received applications for the following licenses from companies related to Mr. A.S. A.S. African Asset Management Limited, formerly known as Alvaro Sobrino African Asset Management Limited, on 18 August 2015 for a Category 1 Global Business License, CIS Manager License, and an Investment Advisor Unrestricted License on 14th March 2016. B. ASA Fund on 18th August 2015 for a Category 1 Global Business License and authorization to operate as a collective investment scheme, and on 17th March 2016 to be converted into a closed-end fund. C. Passet Fund on 18th August 2015 for a Category 1 Global Business License and authorization to operate as a collective investment scheme, and on 17th March 2016 to be converted into a closed-end fund. And D. Alvaro Sobrino Africa Limited on 29th March 2016 for an investment banking license. The applications were supported by the necessary documents, including constitutive documents, customer due diligence on promoters, beneficial owners, shareholders, and directors, prospectus, and administration agreement, amongst others. During its assessment, the FSC came across adverse hits on Mr. A.S., and an enhanced due diligence was conducted in that respect. In the light of the enhanced due diligence conducted and on being satisfied that the applications were in order, the licenses applied for were issued. In that connection, a communiqué was issued by the FSC on 2nd March 2017, and same can still be accessed on the Commission's website. I'm also informed by the FSC that it did not deem it necessary to conduct an inquiry on the circumstances in which the licenses were issued to companies related to Mr. A.S., inasmuch as all applications were duly processed and scrutinized as per the established procedures and practices at the Commission.
Thank you. Is the Honourable Minister aware that in answering to a P&Q, the Honourable Prime Minister stated that there were ongoing investigation by the FSC, and now today he's saying that there has not been any investigation by the FSC as to how various licenses has been issued to Mr. Alvaro Sobrino and his companies?
I'm informed that there were inquiries that were referred to, complaints that were referred to the Commissioner of Police, and there were two cases that were being investigated by the Commissioner of Police, and in both cases, in one particular case, after the investigation, it was referred to the Office of the DPP, and the Director of Public Prosecution set aside that case, and in the second one, it was sent to the intermediary court, and then again, at the level of the court, it was set aside.
In 2017, answering to a P&Q, that is when the Honourable Prime Minister said that there was investigation. But later on, in 2018, on the 27th March 2018, 1 year later, again answering to a P&Q, again the very same Prime Minister, stated in this House that he has referred a letter to ICAC to inquire on Mr. Alvaro Sobrino 1 year later. So are you telling the House that even after that letter of 2018, the FSC did not conduct any further investigation on the circumstances surrounding the issue of various licenses to Mr. Sobrino?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm also aware that there is an investigation being carried out at the level of the ICAC, and the FSC is collaborating and having provided all the information requested by the ICAC with regard to Mr. A.S.
In March 2018, the FSC revoked several licenses issued to Mr. Alvaro Sobrino and his companies, namely an investment banking license. May I know from the Honourable Minister whether he has asked the Financial Services Commission, why is it that it's only 1 year later 3 years later, on the 29th of July 2021, 3 years later, that the FSC revoked the management license of Tyson Corporate Services Limited, which is wholly owned by Mr. Alvaro Sobrino, and the license was revoked because there were serious breaches of anti-money laundering regulations. So why did the FSC take 3 years to revoke the management company license of Tyson Corporate Services Limited?
Mr. Speaker, sir, there have been a lot of allegations against Mr. A.S. in different countries. And I've been informed that at the level of the FSC, they have sought information from all those different authorities from overseas. And based on that, they carried out their inquiries, and following all the information obtained, that they have revoked those licenses.
Honorable Juman.
B1009.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm informed by the Central Water Authority that since January 2015, in line with the vision of the government to provide water on a 24/7 basis to the population, the authority has increased significantly the supply of water across the island. I am further informed that as at date, around 68% of the population receive an average water supply of 12 to 24 hours daily. 30% of the population received on an average 8 to 12 hours daily, and 2% of the population receive less than 8 hours of water supply per day. These areas have been identified as water stressed and include Vallée des Prêtres, Montroche, Upper and Lower Union Park, Montrose, l'Escalier, La Saudine, Bambou-Vieilleux, Saint-Joseph at Grand-Gobe, Mapou, l'Ecclésio, Goodlands, Grand Sable, Petit Sable, and Isidore. Over the past years, the Central Water Authority has been taking the necessary measures to improve the hours of supply through significant investment in the following areas: increase in water treatment capacity, increase in storage capacity through service reservoir, replacement of old and defective pipes, and drilling of new boreholes, duplicate boreholes, and acquisition of private boreholes. Mr. Speaker, sir, the CWA is currently producing some 888,000 meter cube of potable water per day through its treatment plants, boreholes, and containerized pressure filtration plants, representing an increase of almost 33% compared to 670,000 meter cube per day in 2015. This has been made possible mainly through the installation of 42 mobile containerized pressure filtration plants, treating around 104,500 meter cube per day. I am informed that an additional 5 pressure filters are expected to be commissioned by April 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, since 2016, 5 service reservoirs have become operational at Mont Blanc, Balisson, Montagne Fayence, Rivière du Rempart, and Rivière Dragon, representing an additional storage capacity of 12,500 meter cube. Moreover, the construction of another 4 service reservoirs is ongoing at Salazie, Aubuy, Richanneau, and Cluny, which would supplement storage capacity with another 9,500 meter cube. The construction of these service reservoirs is expected to be completed by December 2022. In order to cater for future demand and to further improve water supply, especially in water-stressed areas, the Water Resources Unit, in consultation with the Central Water Authority, carries out annual borehole drilling campaigns. On average, 5 new boreholes are drilled every year. To assist in security of supply, 22 duplicate boreholes have already been drilled since 2015, adding some 87,336 meter cube per day. These duplicate boreholes help in ensuring security of water supply in the regions concerned. The latest new boreholes drilled by the Water Resources Unit are located at Valentina, Côte d'Or, and Bambou. CWA has further acquired a few private boreholes in order to supplement its network in the regions of Aubleu, Petit-Bois, Caroline, La Marie, and Médine. As part of its regular pipe replacement program, a total of 443 kilometers of pipeline have been replaced and added to the CWA distribution network around the island since 2015. Mr. Speaker, sir, with regard to part B of the question, I wish to outline that the island receives an average rainfall of 2,000 millimeters per annum. However, there are often water supply shortage, particularly in the dry month before the onset of summer rains. The replenishment of the water resources systems occurs primarily during the summer season, that is from December to April of the following year, when about 2/3 of the rainfall is harnessed. According to the Mauritius Meteorological Services, average or below average rainfall has been witnessed in the months of June, July, August, and September of this year. It is likely that the month of October will also be dry. Mr. Speaker, sir, in preparation of the dry season, I will mention a few projects carried out around the island, particularly in the water stress areas, which have contributed to an immediate improvement of the water services. In the north, at Goodlands, Rocheté, and Grand Gobe, the installation and commissioning of 2 additional containerized pressure filters at New Goodlands Reservoir was completed in March 2022, thus increasing the water supply in these regions from 6 to 12 hours. Around 13,000 subscribers have benefited from the project. At Mosquée Road, Lower Vale, the laying of a new pipeline over a stretch of 400 meters was completed in February 2022 and has brought an improvement in the water supply in the region for some 200 subscribers. Now, CWA is not having recourse to water tankers there. At CB Road in Goodlands, the water supply has improved from 2 hours daily to 6 hours daily through the installation and commissioning of 3 water tanks of 30 meter cube and a pump in March 2022, benefiting some 100 subscribers along that road. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the east, the installation and commissioning of 1 additional containerized pressure filtration plant at the Equanior River in August 2022 has contributed to improve water supply at Isidore Rose Bramstan, where around 345 subscribers are concerned. And in the south, following the installation and commissioning of surface pump at Michael Lille Saint-Martin, 60 subscribers are now receiving water from 2 a.m. in the morning to 10 p.m. at night. As such, the services of water tankers are no longer required. At Bambou Vieilleux, 4 water tanks of 30 meter cube of storage capacity and surface pumps have been installed and commissioned. In addition, surface pumps have been installed at State Land at Anjoncé in June 2022, thus improving water supply in these regions for around 200 subscribers. In the western region, the mobilization of additional water of around 1,500 meter cube daily from Tamarine Falls via Magenta Hydropower Station to be treated at Yemen Reservoir site will improve water supply from 8 hours to 10 hours daily in the regions of Petite Rivière-Noire, Case-Noyal, Lagolette, Coteau-Raffin, and Le Monde, and around 1,400 subscribers are concerned by this improvement. There are several other improvement projects that are currently ongoing, especially in the water-stressed regions around the island, such as the installation of 3 water tanks of 30 meter cube and pump at Meaville Public Beach, which is expected to be completed next month, thus improving the water supply at Saint-Joseph Grand Gobe for nearly 360 subscribers. Bids for the replacement of 1.2 kilometers of the existing AC pipeline has also been floated, and the closing date has been fixed on 3rd November. Another project for the north concerns Goodlands and Grand Goube, where it is proposed to mobilize water from Grand Marais Bassin with the installation of 2 containerized pressure filter plants and construction of 7.2 kilometers of pipeline to all Goodlands reservoir, which will result in improving water supply from 8 hours to 12 hours at Grand Goube, Rouge-Terre, and Goodlands. Around 3,000 subscribers will be concerned. At Morlacho, Belmont, it is proposed to install 1 containerized pressure filtration plant on Rivière du Poste de Flac, and works are expected to be completed by mid-November 2022. In Nouvelle-France, Union Park, the laying of a 250 mm HDPE pipeline from Rivière-la-Chaux to Balisson Reservoir is in progress, and the raw water will be treated by the CPF at Balisson Reservoir, thus improving water supply in the region of Montrose and Union Park, and around 1,800 subscribers will be concerned. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to reassure the House that action is being taken on several fronts across the different parts of the island to further enhance water services, especially with the upcoming dry season. I take the opportunity to make an appeal to the population to preserve the precious water that we have so that we can face this situation in the best possible manner. The CWA will continue its water-saving campaigns to sensitize the population on a more judicious use of our water resources. And at the same time, the population is encouraged to avail the facilities under the water tank grant scheme, where eligible households can benefit from the grant of 8,000 rupees for the purchase of a water tank and domestic water pump. I have to highlight, Mr. Speaker, sir, that my ministry, together with the Development Bank of Mauritius and the CWA, have reached out to the inhabitants of some 51 villages in the water-stressed areas on 15 occasions this year during outreach campaigns, and some 6,000 applications under the water tank grant scheme have been received and processed. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. We have recently heard you putting forward that not only hotels in coastal regions, but the government should also be looking into desalination. May we know if any feasibility study have been carried out, and if so, may we know the outcome? And may we also know if any report has been commissioned on the implementation?
This is a supplementary question, one by one.
Okay.
Yes, but Mr. Speaker, sir, the question put by the Honourable Member to me is with regard to 24/7 water supply in the country. The statement I made with regard to desalination plants in Mauritius for the future was related to a workshop when we were working on the water bill. So I don't have the precise information for the Honourable Member, but Mr. Speaker, sir, we are considering all possibilities because we know that we are already being impacted by climate change and that year after year the drought period is increasing. So we need to find ways and means in order to supply the population with water.
Thank you. Honourable Minister, in reply to a PQ in October 2015, then Honourable Minister replied that the non-revenue water was about 58%. Can we know actually the percentage of non-revenue water?
Again, Mr. Speaker, sir, this is a very specific item that is non-revenue water. If the Honourable Member will come forward with a question dealing with non-revenue water, I'll be very glad to reply to him. But unfortunately, today I don't have the reply with me.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Despite the reassurances given by the Honourable Minister and the number of measures mentioned, is he aware that currently, since weekend, the inhabitants of the south, talking about Maud-Albert, Plaine-Magnan, Mayberg, there are currently a serious shortage of water in those regions. And we are in a period where students are taking part in exams, and even in schools, we have a shortage of water. Is the minister aware of this situation, and is he going to take necessary measures?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm aware, and I've requested a brief from the CWA. In fact, during the weekend, there was a drastic shortage of water in that region, mainly because of a faulty pump at Cluny Borehole. I understand that during the weekend, they have repaired the pump, but unfortunately, because of air locked in the... Are you listening to what I'm saying? I have a brief with me. But then if you have the answer, why do you put the question to me?
Be patient, be patient, be patient.
Mr. Speaker, sir, from the report that I've received from the CWA, I understand that they have already replaced the pump. Unfortunately, because of air locked within the network system, the network distribution, water distribution system, it took them some time to restore back the supply to the subscribers in the region. I understand that needful is being done, and in the hours and the days to come, full supply will be restored.
Honorable Lachman Roy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, in his answer, the Honourable Minister mentioned about the water stress areas, mentioning the area of Vallée des Prêtres. Can I request the Minister to provide further information with regard to the solutions for the inhabitants of Vallée des Prêtres with regard to the water stress areas that he mentioned, specifically for Vallée des Prêtres, if he has any specific solution that he's proposing? Thank you.
Yeah, we are, because this is also my constituency, Mr. Speaker, sir. We are doing needful in order to alleviate the problems that subscribers in that region are facing. We are finding solutions, and we will implement those solutions, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honourable members, the table had been advised that PQB 1037 will be replied by the Honourable Minister of Gender Equality and Family Welfare. PQB 1064 and PQB 1067 will be replied by the Honourable Minister of Environment, Solid Waste Management and Climate Change. The table has been advised that following PQs have been withdrawn: B998, B1028, B1030, B1052, B1055, B1057. Honourable members, I'll suspend the sitting for 1.5 hours.